Here we go. Cool. Alright. Let me just send out a message over Twitter about this. Okay. Alright, that is resolved. I've fulfilled my social media responsibilities and we are playing the game. Man, really good view distance on this server. Different servers in DayZ have different sort of ranges, draw distance, I guess is the conventional term that they render things. This one's pretty good, really clear. So right now, you can see some people marking some stuff on the map here, which you can actually do by clicking and typing stuff. Grandmother's house. I'm up here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I don't have a GPS, which is a discrete item in DayZ. Last I remember, I had raided this soccer field here, which is like this green rectangle, and I'd sort of made my way southwest. There's some tree stands, I think. There's one in this field, and there's one maybe in this tree line, or maybe this tree line. So I'm somewhere, probably here? I don't know. Just finding a way around. Yeah, there's a tree stand. I wanted to leave that in my view. Tree stands tend to hold like pretty decent mid-level equipment in DayZ. I think I see just like a low-level backpack in there right now. I might go and check that out. So Berezino, like, I guess I should say generally, if you don't play DayZ, it's sort of a natural like cost-benefit to entering structures. Different structures have different loot in them. They're sort of designed to reflect, what they look like. If you're entering a military camp, it's going to have higher level military gear. An airfield has like high-tech weaponry and higher chances for that. It's not guaranteed. It's all like percentage based. Kind of like Diablo or any other sort of loot-driven game. But if I went into this lumber mill, which has like a barn outside here, I'd probably expect to find like some farm weapons, like shotguns and stuff like that. So Berezino's nice because it has a hospital. I can see my ghillie suit here on my guy, which is an item I found last weekend. Berezino's interesting because it has like some good buildings in here. There are a couple sets of apartments. There's a set of apartments up here. There are military tents in the soccer fields. There are like lots of stuff that you can hit in a group. It's the town I like to hang out in most. And my weapon is a AK-74 Cobra. Oh wow. That's interesting. I found a tent. What's in the tent? Not too much. So tents are sort of like the only player structure in place right now as I see my first zombie. And they are basically the only way of storing loot persistently other than your character, of course. I don't really see anything too valuable in here. I'm pretty good on painkillers. Pretty good on morphine and whatnot. So I'm going to just kind of leave that be, but keeping in mind, basically, tents are in place usually, and this is not really the best place for one. This guy's probably just storing stuff that he finds in this tree stand here. Yeah, so Furzap is asking, do some servers not allow you to see players on the map? Yeah, so that is a server-side setting in Arma. Depending on what, it's called a difficulty rating in Arma. Like 4 different difficulty ratings, and they all have like a separate set of settings. But depending on that, you'll see yourself on the map, you'll see name tags when you hover over people, or you'll have those on or off. This server seems to have all that stuff disabled, I'm pretty sure. It also includes crosshairs. I don't think this server has crosshairs. Normally you'd see like a green reticule where that arrow is. It's indicating I can just climb down this ladder. I'll take the opportunity to just kind of check out the town, see what I see. Yeah, this is actually probably my ideal set of settings. No crosshair, but it does have third person. Yeah, some servers actually disable third person mode, so you're only looking around in first person. Okay, zombie there. So let's see what I recognize just by looking around. I think the military tents are in that direction. That's like northeast. And I don't know. That's a good direction to head. I'm not really sure what I need right now. Part of what's nice about the way DayZ operates is it sort of creates needs in a very natural way to you that never feels like the game is like assigning you an objective, but you usually feel like you have something that you want to do or you have to do. Right now I'm pretty stocked up. I've got a few magazines for my gun. Yeah, I've got 4 magazines total here between my backpack and my main inventory. Got antibiotics just in case I get sick. I've got a little bit of food. I'm pretty set, so I can kind of, get into trouble here. Probably the right thing to do would be to make a move for an airfield. Nearest airfield is up here to the north. But for now, I think I'm going to cruise over to those military tents and just see if anything pops into view. Probably not going to find anything higher tier than what I have right now, but it'll be fun and exciting. Yeah, so I kind of swing back and forth between playing DayZ with a group and playing it alone. It's pretty neat in that it becomes a totally different experience when you are playing by yourself. It definitely changes like what becomes safe for you to do. I mean, just sort of naturally, if you're thinking about a zombie apocalypse and what you would do if you see one person, as opposed to seeing a group of people, and like how threatened you would be by that, and how that sort of shaped your decisions naturally. So just as a group, you appear like less attractive, more dangerous. That usually is enough of an incentive for people not to engage you unless they're sort of like lone wolf snipers and shooting at you from a hill or something. So crossing an open field, not recommended, but I'm pretty safe here, right? What's the worst that can happen? Famous last words. Alright, so I recognize this line of trees here. You can see so you see how I can sort of like see through this group of trees here? So I recognize that's a pretty like narrow tree line. And I sort of identify that with, oops, I'm all the way down here, with this narrow tree line, right? I know I'm heading north. I had a feeling I was down here, so I know that I'm somewhere in here right now. Love the way DayZ and Arma sort of encourages you to decode the environment, really examine the environment in a way it makes seeing a skill, as opposed to just throwing information at you like any other shooter would. We're just playing Blacklight Tango Down. Not Tango Down, Blacklight Retribution, which went free to play on Steam today, launched on Steam today. And the game just bombards you with information. It's a totally different kind of shooter. It's a competitive shooter, it's a multiplayer shooter, it's conventional kind of FPS in that way, but there's something nice about seeing being a skill to me. All of my senses being a skill. I mean, hearing and listening being skills in DayZ and Arma, and just the fact that the way the game makes audio like a very sort of high fidelity form of communication, where if I hear a gunshot, I know that was a player decision. Somebody made the decision to pull the trigger somewhere in the world, and that represents something. I can sort of trust the game to report all that information to me, and then I can decode it and decide how to use it and how to react to it. Whether I hear a gunshot and I run away, or see a boar up ahead, or maybe I decide to go investigate. One thing I'm still waiting to find is a boat. I would love to find a boat in DayZ. So we've got a boar here. The DayZ creator, Dean Rocket Hall, is always talking about how he's trying to make these animals move around. I think that's something coming in the next patch. But they tend to get locked into position here. I don't know if that's really intentional. So I'm going to make the somewhat dumb decision to... I don't know, should I? I don't really... Do I need... I guess I could use some food. You can see my blood count is at 12,000, which is maximum right now, but I guess I'm doing okay. There's really no need to fire a shot here, so... See the military tents up ahead there? There's sort of a green mesh. And it's sort of nestled into the soccer field. So right now with the way the game is designed, you know, I do have a sense that they're going to be changing this, but you can sort of automatically tell if an area is dangerous because as you enter new areas, if you're the only player there, the game's going to say like, okay, I see a new player entering this section of the game, I'm going to populate it with zombies. So, you know, if you don't see any zombies, or if you only see zombies as you approach, it's pretty safe to say, at least in the immediate area, you're the only person there. And I can see that that's kind of the case here. You can see zombies sort of popping into view. Saw one over here. Alright, so I'm going to loop around here and check these tents out, see if there's anything worth taking. Let's see if there's any setting I can turn down here just to get a couple more frames. Might be the server that's affecting my performance. This is something we're also addressing in DayZ, which is pretty cool. Just the way that a mod is influencing development in that way is so neat to me. Encouraging the developers to go back and change things up. Okay, everything looks pretty good. So the M9 pistol is actually, it's pretty damn quiet. It's one of the quietest guns in the game right now. Whether that's intentional or not by the developers. But I can fire it pretty much in any situation. Honestly, I'm just going to test it here real quick because I'm feeling confident. But I might be able to shoot it without this zombie on the left hearing me. I know that sounds ridiculous. Let me see if that's the case. Nope. Alright. Okay. That was a regrettable decision. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my AK here and... Oh, hi! Oh my god. I'm definitely clipping through the walls and attacking me, and I'm bleeding. I'm terrible. Oh, you're in there. That's cool. Occupied. These tents are just horrendous, man. Alright, so am I safe to bandage here at all yet? Yeah, I think I lost some of them. So yeah, in one of the recent patches they added line of sight to zombies, so I sort of... They're going to continue to investigate this area. I just must have lost them running through that tent, which is pretty advantageous. Yeah, that was really a bad idea. Did that guy see me? No? No. Okay. A lot of hollering in that tent, I hear. A ton of zombies up in this area. Let's see one silhouetted through here. Just kind of check this tent and see if I see anything of value. Nope. One thing I am curious about, and I actually don't know, is if line of sight is actually tied to the eyes themselves. In other words, if like you can see the zombie has some eye movement here, some head movement. You know, whether or not that actually affects his line of sight. If his, you know, basically if his line of sight is affected more by the way he's facing, you know, with his torso and upper body, or just with those sort of head movements, that it's actually changing. I'm not sure. So probably some basic stuff, some basic ammo in here. DMR mag, AKM mag. There are actually different types of AK magazines in DayZ and Arma. So I'm actually firing, you can see here, 5.45. And AKMs are the traditional 7.62. You can see right there. You see right there they're using different types of weapons, so they're a little cross-compatible, but not universally. I'm going to pick up this other bandage here after spending the other one, and take the opportunity to pull a couple more, just one more out of my bag here. Okay. Not too much happening up in here. I think I'm going to head toward an area of Berezino I haven't really hit before, which is the, there's like a naval yard. And that should just be to my east, yep. Not sure when the next patch is going to be. That's 1.72, I believe. And the main thing is it's really doing a lot of stuff to improve the stability of DayZ and the performance and security. So that stuff isn't really just content stuff that you throw in and just see if it works. It takes a lot of, like, you know, testing at scale. So I think Rocket is just taking time to make sure that he doesn't screw up this patch like a few other patches, and making sure it works and making sure it's stable and it's going to actually improve people's experience globally. But you know, at the rate he's going, man, I mean, it should not be for another week or two, I'm guessing. I can see McMilky is actually saying in the chat here that line of sight is sort of tied to the actual eyes and head movement of the zombies, which is super cool. Super cool that this game has that kind of fidelity. I don't know if I should go to that building. There's a high yield building at my 12 o'clock. That office building, as I just like sort of dangerously walk in the open here. I'll just skip that altogether and head toward the naval area just to investigate that. I don't really have a lot of familiarity about that area. Ghillie suit is actually a super useful item, not only because it, hey, it makes you less visible in grass, right? But you can see it actually, in most cases, when you're a survivor, you have a backpack. And that backpack is sort of a natural indicator of your experience level, because there are different tiers of backpacks, and they all hold a different amount of loot. Crossing a road here is really dangerous. You can see my sound level go up, my visibility. But as I was saying, yeah, having a ghillie suit actually, oh gosh, having a ghillie suit actually hides your backpack, which is handy. This guy's totally going to see me, isn't he? No? Really? That's a little surprising. So I'm going to head into this barn. See some, those are some enterable apartments over there. I've got one guy trailing me. Let's see if I can lose him in here. There's a fuel can there. And an axe. Let's see if I can actually, I wonder if I can deal with this guy with a hatchet. I might actually add it to my inventory and make me drop something. I'm not going to do that. Oh wow, he's flanking me. That's unusual. That's really clever. I haven't seen that behavior before. That's what his intelligence got him. Oh, but I did aggro somebody else. Hey, buddy. Man, M9 is louder than I thought. This is weird. I've had, like, experiences with it being super quiet. The cool experience is I actually just dropped a DMR magazine, which is like a sniper rifle. See it right there. Put it back on the body in exchange for the soda can. But you know, I do play DayZ with a group occasionally, and it's really neat to know that your friend is carrying an exotic weapon, like a silenced M4 or something. Silenced weapons actually require silenced ammunition. And you know, it's pretty rare. You know, when you find that stuff, it's pretty precious. If you have that kind of weapon, you really gotta like be careful with your shots and stuff. But just the notion of saving ammo for somebody and like having a gift to give somebody is pretty neat. And it's not really an experience I have in other games. Maybe Diablo or something. If I find a really good axe, I know my friend plays Barbarian or something. So I guess, I'm not sure if like the high tier backpack spawns in these apartments. I'm just going to give it a look. Another cool feature coming to the next patch is, right now, zombies can hear through buildings with like sort of 100% hearing ability, so to speak. So if I decided to run in here and a zombie was outside, they would definitely hear it. See my... Actually, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't. My audio would go, like... See that your icon isn't really spiking up too much there when I run. It's only going to level 2, but that's going to be reduced to just 50% in the next patch. There's a crowbar. I find another ghillie suit. Oh wow, well, I found camo clothing. I guess I'll exchange that. This camo clothing's like the, kind of look like a military dude. It's borrowed from the British Armed Forces DLC of Arma 2. Alright, one apartment down. Running around like a Wookiee here in my... Guess it would be more appropriate if I had a crossbow, which is actually an item in DayZ. And I could be role-playing Chewbacca. Okay, and a crowbar. Haven't really spent a lot of time with the melee weapons in DayZ. This is probably Makarov mag, okay. Going up, going up. Got the next to highest tier backpack right now, although you guys can't see it on my back, of course, the Alice pack. See up here, well, when I open it, I got one of 20 slots available. The highest tier backpack has 24 slots, starting backpack has 20 slots. So, pretty big increment there between highest and lowest. I'm going to grab one of these Pepsi cans. And I am carrying the rarest of the rare, the Mountain Dew. Which is actually like a really hard item to find in DayZ. Doesn't even have a description. Sort of like a vanity item or something, like a I don't know, sort of like a giant trophy I carry around. Alright, so if you're just joining the stream, I'm up in Berezino, in these apartments. Berezino? Berezino? I don't know how you guys pronounce that. Berezino. And just for some perspective, it's way up in the northeast corner. of this 225 square kilometer world. And right now I believe I'm in one of these buildings up here. Maybe it's one of these three. And after that I'm going to check out this naval yard just to see if there might be any boats floating around, although they're incredibly rare in DayZ. Do not miss an opportunity to hop on a boat though, if there happens to be one. Okay, I think I'm just going to skip this apartment building and mosey on. Crossing a road is like one of the most difficult, not difficult, but just dangerous things to do in DayZ. Just dramatically increases your visibility, so you have to be super careful and almost treat them like there's a zombie. I almost didn't see that guy. But you almost have to crawl through them, like they're hills or something, to reduce your visibility to get across them. I'm going to swap to my AK here just in case I encounter a player. I'm going to go prone here. One trick to reduce your silhouette if you're sniping or something, you say you're on the top of a hill, I like to look down and see, like, you know, if I'm aiming or something, my gun is visible, creating a different silhouette against the land. But if I'm aiming down, I'm just trying to hide. You can see it's like remarkably different there. Pretty big difference. You just sort of embed your gun in the ground. Alright, let's see if I can walk both ways and cross the road here. Look at all that weapon bob, man. Okay, nothing in there. Can't remember if these hangar doors are open by default. Probably not. So, just indicating that somebody's been in there at some point. Let's see if I can jog here. Sound of that ocean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up one of these cranes actually. First I'm going to just peek in here. Really any good gear that spawns in here unless you're looking to repair a helicopter or something, build a helicopter. Wiki Bookie's asking if it's possible to spawn on the East Coast. It's definitely possible. Some spawn points I'm aware of are definitely spawn south of Slichny, more likely in like Three Rivers. What's it called? It's called Three Rivers. Three Valleys, yeah, sorry. This junction, absolutely. And often spawn down in here. I've definitely started there a few times, but probably not in Berezino proper. Oh, what? Did I aggro somebody? Maybe he's in the water. Yeah, he's solely in the water. You see him? Oh, that's not comforting at all. Evan was killed. Is that an omen? Alright, well, I'm not really seeing any stuff, but I'll climb up here just to bend this. Can I climb? Yeah, it's like on this side, right? Yeah, here we go. Is there an easy way to tell where you've spawned without having to go to town and checking the sign? I don't know, that's probably the best way. I mean, it helps to have some armor knowledge. I don't know if I can actually get up into this area without killing myself. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'll revisit that in a sec here. Just going to climb up. Here's the... Okay. A series of ladders. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. There's sort of some funny auto-targeting happening here. Okay, let's go up. Go up. Climb ladder up. Great. And like one or two more ladders, maybe? Two? Yes. Okay. Up. Yeah, so when you spawn, you actually... It does usually report in the lower right-hand corner. There's sort of like some text, some like typewriter-style text displaying but what general area you're in. Sometimes it's not completely accurate. It'll sort of give you a general area, say Chernogorsk or something. But yeah, you know, it'll usually tell you initially. You can just check down there when you spawn in. It's not really going to give you the exact coordinate. It might be off by a little bit, but that's probably the thing to do. So I don't really see anything happening in this town. I might just do some target practice from up here while I'm relatively safe. So I just found this gun in my last spawn. I was holding an normal AK-74. This is a Cobra. I think really the only difference is the stock and the optics, of course. Try and see if I can pick these guys off. Usually my rule in ARM is like, I like to let the guy, you know, I guess it's just the general rule of shooting anything. Not that I shoot at human bodies or anything, but sort of let it move into the sight as you fire, so don't like, you know, I wouldn't fire here, for example. I'd fire like, oh, whoa, that was weird. Alright, he's still right now, but I would sort of let him move into the cursor, into the crosshair itself, and fire then. So, let's see how straight this thing shoots. See, 58 headshots on my counter. I probably need to go up a little bit. Tell how far off I am right here. Let's try a closer target. I'm actually aiming too high here, I think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, still getting used to these optics. I don't use this. I've never really used like these guns in Arma. Yeah, I can barely see the dust ticking up. There we go. So I need to aim a little bit lower than the dot at this range, which is probably about 200 meters. So let's try that right there. And That's a tricky one to shoot with. I realize this is like remarkably dangerous. I'm at the top of a structure doing target practice, but it's really important to feel comfortable with your guns, because you spend so long just, you know, having these periods of nothing and nothing and nothing, and then you gotta be ready to know how to use them. There's a clean shot. Cool. That was over his shoulder. I did get him okay. That was a little short. And short again. It's not easy to tag these guys. There we go. Okay, see if we can get a headshot here. So again, like, I'm sort of letting him fill that dot as he just sort of naturally moves. I'm not trying to follow him, I'm not trying to chase him, right? I'm just sort of keeping it below and firing. I did get him, I think, in the chest there. Not the shot I wanted. I'm not too worried about getting stream sniped. It's happened before. If it happens, big deal. I just want to show you guys an interesting time. I'm not going to play too conservatively. Okay, I sort of put it between the two markers there on the site. And that worked out pretty well. Try just tagging this guy again. I have no idea where it was falling. Yeah, I can't tell where that shot's falling. Maybe it's just not going to be effective for me at that range. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of feedback to work with here, so no, this is good. Like, I'm really learning. I mean, if I hadn't taken the moment to practice with this weapon a little more, and obviously I could sort of do this. I could set up something in Arma's editor and bring up this weapon, which is like a good practice. But I might have falsely thought, you know, I can engage a bandit at this range. I've got an AK. It's an AK. I can do whatever I want. This is only about, like, I'll just sort of estimate where I am. I'll show you guys kind of a small method of how to estimate range in Arma. Oops, okay. So I am in the northernmost area here. Maybe it's the southernmost. So there's like a little, probably like right about here, right? So I'm in the middle area. Alright, so I'm up in here. And I think my target is, it's past the sort of extension into the water here, and it's on a little jut of land right about here. So I'm here. Each of these squares is 100 meters, so say I'm like right here, which is at the edge of the square, so count roughly 1, 2, 3, 350, 400 meters. So just based on that, I know, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to sort of comfortably engage somebody, even a still target, which is not good. That sort of represents best case scenario. I'm not going to be able to engage somebody at that range. So already I'm thinking about, okay, I want to trade this weapon. I want to find something new. Okay. I'm going to crawl down here. Gotta be super careful on these stairs not to accidentally throw your entire body off somewhere. See if there's anybody else I can take a shot at here. This guy is just asking for it. Seems like everybody else kind of despawned. Hopefully I can climb some ladders without killing myself here. This part might be tricky. There it is. Okay. Ladders. The natural enemy of the survivor in DayZ. Ladder down. I should put this guy out of his misery. I don't want to fall in the water here, though. Yeah, that's a pretty impressive breaststroke. Look at that form. Guy's ready to watch the Olympics. Majestic. So my rule in DayZ is I like to do interesting things, not things that make me like win, if you know what I mean. I like to get in trouble. I like to take risks and see what happens, and get in populated areas, see what happens. So I think at this point I'm going to make the trek north and see what's happening in this airfield, see if I can find some new gear. So I'm just going to kind of run recklessly. I'm going to aggro some zombies on my way out of town, but I just want to get out of here quickly. I don't want to be too cautious. You guys know if you have questions, I'll be watching chat right now. I'll keep going this way. So yeah, in the interview I did with Rocket, Dean Hall, creator of DayZ, saying that sort of he has some technology in mind, some adjustments to the engine in mind to to make the game, make the servers support like up to 200 people. That's kind of his ideal size, and no idea when that's going to be implemented, but I love the idea of DayZ being just like a couple 100% more populated. When you run into players, it's such an interesting event. It's sort of this like needle in a haystack kind of feeling that you don't really get in any other game, and it's a terrific part of the experience, just seeing somebody, watching them, figuring out what to do, figuring out how to respond. Do I introduce myself? Do I make myself visible and like identify myself as friendly? Do I follow them to sort of like run the risk of making them think I'm trying to kill them or something? Do I just try to kill them up front? Oh dear. And I do think the game would benefit from just a few more encounters like per square foot, so to speak, of other players. Let's see if I can lose this guy behind this wall. Probably not. I'm not sure if these trees affect line of sight yet. Yeah, so if you guys are just learning about DayZ for the first time, if you kind of have a cursory understanding of it, it's a permadeath game, so yeah, when you die you lose everything. You lose your character, lose your stats, lose your gear, and I mean, kind of a part of that too is you lose your position. You respawn in an entirely different part of the game, this like very dangerous beach, and which tends to be filled with new players, obviously, and like veteran players that like to kill new players are sort of overlooking that area. So all those things are lost, and you have to regain and sort of work your way back up, and it's pretty brutal. But I don't know, that difficulty in that, just that feeling of losing something is something I really like. It's pretty rare, right? Another permadeath game I like is Dungeons of Dreadmore. Is actually our PC Gamer's Indie Game of the Year last year for 2011. It's a roguelike, and roguelikes are known for having a permadeath mechanic. But yeah, it's terrific, like really charming tile-based roguelike game. Encourage you guys to check that out. It's only about $5 on Steam. And you know, for some of the same reasons, even though it's a very different kind of like 2D driven dungeon turn-based game, I just like, I don't know, I mean, playing Mass Effect, playing Diablo, playing these mainstream games which are like very high production, very interesting, like I rarely like really feel strong emotions, you know what I mean? I might get excited about loot, I might, you know, get upset or feel good about a a combat encounter, or like a, you know, a boss or something, and feel a sense of triumph and accomplishment and that normal conventional sense of progression, but I never really feel at risk. When I lose, there aren't like a lot of big consequences. There's no real concept of failure in those games. So in that way, like, I never really feel judged, and I feel like being judged is something players want, and maybe they don't know they want, maybe they don't know how to put that into words, but you want to feel like, you know, you outsmarted this game, or you outsmarted other players because of your skill. I mean, you can actually, this is ridiculous, but when it's nighttime, and if the sky's clear, and, you know, depending on the moon, which is kind of insane all by itself, like, you can read the stars in Arma. If you don't have a compass, I have a compass, I can hit it by bringing up K. You can use the stars to, like, find your way around, and, you know, probably not the best way, probably not the easiest thing to do, but if you're good at reading stars, you are good at reading stars in Arma. It's a thing, you know, that's pretty nuts. Alright, I'm just gonna hit this tree line, stop and get my bearings for a little bit, heading roughly northwest. In my grass gear, my grass suit. Running and running and running. Headset I'm using is I think it's a Corsair headset. I don't remember the exact model. Yeah, it's actually not marked, but it's sort of a medium-end headset. But I don't know if you guys agree, but the mic is actually like really high quality. I've never had any problems with the mic. It's always pretty damn clear. It's not the highest sound quality. It doesn't have like really high-end drivers or anything, but it's lightweight. It's actually super comfortable. I like headsets that like surround your ear rather than sort of rest on your ear. But it's a good work headset for me that I'm wearing like, you know, 60% of my day or something. And you know, no like fancy mix amp. It's just kind of the simple plus and minus volume control. Alright, so I probably crossed. This is probably the big field I crossed. I might have crossed this one. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, I think I saw Kelm on my west as I was going up here, so I'm probably somewhere in here, maybe this tree line. How narrow is this? Yeah, you can see, again, this is like only a few trees deep, right? The tree line that I'm looking at right here. So I know, and I know I was moving north, so, and I crossed a big open field. So, like, again, all this deduction, this is so amazing and fascinating to me. I don't want to get too romantic about it, but so I crossed an open field. I know I started here, I moved up this direction, crossed some railroad tracks. Can't remember if I cut across here, crossed this open field or this open field, so I'm probably right here. I can sort of like look around me, confirm that information. I can try and look to the west, see if I can see Kelm. In the west there's a bunch of trees, so yeah, I'm probably up in here. I'm gonna keep moving. How about that? Oh, a tree stand. Terrific. Alright, so opportunity for a little bit more target practice. I like to challenge myself in these situations because it's... I mean, obviously zombies run right at you. There's sort of this like... it's like a magnet mechanic for their pathfinding. But I like to put myself in these situations where I know, like, okay, there's got to be nobody else around me. It's got to be pretty empty. I'm like 90% sure of that. If I shoot, it's probably going to trigger all 3 of these zombies, so I'll shoot at the closest one first, and I'll just see how I handle these guys running at me, and see if I can handle it. Training is definitely a thing I feel compelled to do in DayZ, and I don't really feel necessarily compelled to do in other games. Alright, so this guy's moving away. I'll take him. Oh, I didn't aggro him. Huh. Man, firing super low here. Oh, that looked like a headshot. Come on. Here we go. Stand up. I got a crawler here, and that's the guy wounded. Get a little bit closer to him. Alright, so I didn't aggro them. That was kind of surprising, but it's, again, more good information about my gun and how loud it is and how it behaves. And there's no, like, stats I can view. I mean, if I wanted to look at a wiki, DayZ Wiki does have this kind of information. I believe it's just DayZWiki.com. But, just the notion that, like, there's this cost benefit of, like, learning about my weapon. I have to, like, fire my weapon, and doing so, like, kind of puts me in danger, creates noise. I don't really need any bandages. But by doing, you know, by practicing, by, like, just trying to learn more and sort of, like, become more accustomed to something, I'm endangering myself. That's a funny concept for a game. Looks like there's really nothing happening here. Okay. Sometimes loot just does not spawn. That's normal. Alright, so continuing north. That's the safe direction. I hope I don't get lost in these trees, and hope I get a view of the airfield when I get closer. It's sort of been interesting to see, and I think this will, like, continue to develop as more features are introduced, and just as, you know, people get different gear, people sort of develop as players, but just the way, sort of the default, how you deal with somebody encountering another player in the game has changed. You know, how people's general response has changed. Like, in the beginning, and I think this is just because there's a general, you know, lack of knowledge and familiarity about the game in general. People are coming in. I remember, like, almost all the starting players I encountered, they just immediately wanted to be friendly, immediately wanted to hang out and stick around and work together and trying to get more resources. And I feel like, just anecdotally, and like, if you follow the DayZ Reddit, which is just reddit.com/r/DayZ, you can see people echoing this too. Like, there's a lot more initial hostility in encountering people. Alright, so I can see the airfield up there. I'll just sort of confirm it with binoculars for you guys. There is the control tower. So I know I'm heading in the right direction. But yeah, you know, a lot more like, you know, shoot first, ask questions later, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of an evolution of the game and the population. I tend to operate that way as well, but I definitely try not to initiate it. Initiate any combat at ranges I don't feel safe with. I like to observe for a little while, get a sense of people's intentions, and, you know, just make a decision based on that. Alright, so little village to my left. Going to be approaching the airfield from the south here, which is a pretty safe position. Not going to have to cross too much open terrain, but once I get in there, of course, it's going to be pretty treacherous. High visibility from all directions. Yeah, and actually, Anna Estonia is actually posing a good question. Wouldn't the non-existence of such players make the game more boring? And I totally agree. Like, bandits sort of operate as they're sort of the game enemies. Like, even beside the fact that they're players you can interact with and talk to and whatever, they are the adversaries. You know, they're the biggest problem creators in the game. They create drama. You know, and like when you think about it, like whenever I've operated as a bandit, which has only been a few times, promise, there is a certain amount of value in knowing you're creating stories for other people, right? We talk about DayZ as a story generator and the things that happen, the things you do, and just that it feels like very much yours, but knowing that like very cerebrally, me shooting a shot at somebody, like intentionally missing them or whatever. I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious here, but creating danger, creating drama, shooting at a group, yelling at somebody through voice chat or something. Like, I'm creating a story for somebody. And I can sort of see this reflected in there's sort of been these groups of players that it's become this small trend recently in the most recent patch where they added hatchets as a melee weapon. And these guys are running around as a group, these different players, and they're sort of becoming these like maniacal, axe-wielding like maniacs. And they'll ambush players and they'll like run around straight up in towns and like they'll act a little stealthy, but they'll basically be this like murder crew and just terrorize people, and that's their experience. I mean, obviously they're getting something out of it. They're having a lot of fun, like kind of griefing people in a very legal way, but I really think these guys like knowing that they're creating stories that their victims will tell. They're going to tell these stories to their friends, like, oh, you can't believe, like, you're in this fire station, and, like, we hear these guys whispering outside, and then they ambushed us, and they burst through the door, and they killed my friend, and I got away, and then they chased me, and then I shot one. Like, that's all valuable stuff. I mean, I don't know, what other game you get the opportunity to sort of, empathetically victimize somebody, if that makes sense, if that's, like, a term I can use, like, I'm not really, I'm not trying to kill somebody and win. Like, that's not the goal for those guys necessarily. Like, they're not just looking to, I don't know. I mean, I guess some of them, and probably a fair amount of them, actually might be motivated by that. But I like the thought that it's not all about like killing somebody just to get a point. It's like I'm giving somebody like this terrible nightmare. I'm raising their pulse with the click of my mouse, and that's a really cool thought. Okay. Cautiously approaching the airfield. I guess I'm going to swap to my M9 here. Yeah, so what you need to play DayZ, if you guys aren't familiar, is Arma 2 Combined Operations. Combined Operations is sort of like the combined version of the base game, Arma 2, and Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead, which is like the big standalone expansion. DayZ uses elements and like assets from both games, so having both of those will give you what you need. Oh man, you are very perceptive. Not really a fan of these hangars, as they are pretty easy for zombies to get around in, but let's see if I can deal with this guy. Oh man. Am I shaking? No. Okay, he might have swiped me, but I'm not bleeding. That's good. And there's no gear in here. Yeah, I'm not sure if Arma is going to be on sale on the Steam sale, which we're expecting, man, I don't know, next week? It usually falls at the end of June, beginning of July. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for Arma. Let's see some gear in the back here. Looks like it might just be shotgun shells. Whoops, wrong button. I think Valve's kind of doing us a solid, not putting on the sale right now. We're in, most of us are going to be hanging out with our family if you live in the United States tomorrow for the 4th of July. Usually when I'm up here, I like to like the best sniping spot. It's like pretty immediately apparent. There's a couple, but this tree line up here, just like to give it a quick scan, make sure nobody's kind of being obvious about, hey, I'm going to be sniping everybody that enters the airfield from this position. And I like to give this spot a look. Obviously, I haven't really been doing any stealth in this area, but let's see. I'm not really noticing anybody. You can see there's barely make out a rock wall right there in the center. That's usually where they like to hang out. I've definitely examined that spot once or twice and seen somebody crawling around up there as I've looted the airfield. I'm going to circle around the back here, so I'm a little less loud, a little less visible. You can see, you know, in the indicators of how much noise and visibility I'm generating, so to speak. There's even a distinction between this grass and this dirt. I'm not sure if this area is reflecting that, but like, see it go up a little bit. Yeah, right there. From 4 down to 3. There it is. Yeah. So you got to be really conscious about what routes you take. Okay, just gonna hit this control tower and make my way out. Ooh. Man, I love free look. I want free look in like every game that it makes sense for. Just like the ability to frame your shots like this. Super cool. So when I say free look, I mean the ability to, I can sort of move wherever I want and rotate my head by holding the Alt key, looking left and right. It has a lot of tactical value, obviously, in addition to being realistic, but it's just fun too. It's fun to be able to look around and look at what you want, independently of where you're moving. Okay, so the entrance should be up here. There's also a ladder on the north side. I'm approaching from the southwest. Not really seeing any zombies in the immediate area, so I'm just gonna jog in. See some broken glass here, that's sort of cause for concern. See some tank traps, I believe those are player placed. Give this door a close. Be a little bit tactical here, so to speak. Okay, AKS 74U and a simple backpack. See if there's anything in there. Nope. So that's the starter level backpack. You can see it's pretty small. Okay, all clear. It's probably a smoke grenade or something. Let's see. Maybe a Makarov mag. Okay, G17. That's Glock. Pistol mag. Don't need that. Alright, so nothing of value. That is often the case in DayZ. Let's see, what is the AKM? I think it just uses AKM mags. I don't think... Yeah, it uses 5. Oh, maybe is that... Yeah, this would actually use the same magazines I use. So I wonder if I'd prefer that, since I was having trouble with that sight earlier. Let's see what the iron sight looks like for this. It's pretty weird and blocky. So it's got full and semi-auto. I don't know, I guess I'll stick with this. Yeah, so Seraph is asking, what do you guys think about DayZ being an official game, even for consoles? And I think that's kind of the intention of the long-term intention of developers to at least produce sort of a standalone piece of DLC or an expansion or something in that form. Whether it whether that happens in Arma 2 or Arma 3, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think that's definitely their intention. After seeing the just massive success of 300,000 unique players in DayZ and growing, I think it's over about 330 right now. Of course, a lot of those folks owned Arma initially, but definitely fair to say that this has resulted in like just a surge of popularity. Alright, so kind of the natural destination from here, I think I might be able to see the edge of it. There's a little town called Krasnostav outside the airport here, so I'll kind of head, I believe I'm right about here right now. This is the control tower, so I'm just going to sort of stay north of these barns and stuff, make my way west, and yeah, stay high in the hill. Pretty sure there's a well in one of these, behind one of these barns or something. I think I've got 1 or 2 water bottles I could use refilling. Okay, enough running. Go to a jog here. I want to do a little bit more target practice. I'll let my breath catch up here. As you can hear my guy wheezing a little bit. So the weapon kind of deviating. Arma 3 is actually changing this this bobbing system, so it's not so erratic. It just kind of sways a little bit more. You see how it just kind of like really skips around. That's not necessarily the most realistic thing I could do. Okay, make sure I'm in semi here. Oh wow, that was such a bad shot. I was not following my rule of letting him enter the crosshairs. I didn't see that third guy. Okay. Oh man, a lot more than I asked for. You guys are all brothers. So in some of the earlier versions of DayZ, you could actually like almost never lose any zombies. See, I've already lost one, maybe a couple more as their field of view kind of changes and they get bored, so to speak. But now that line of sight is in place, you can actually lose these guys just by running away, which is really welcome. Otherwise, you know, you'd just be running forever, turning around. And I found it really interesting, like when I was interviewing the creator of DayZ, I think it was last week, like he was saying right now, he doesn't even really view the game as scary. Like, you know, in terms of like conventional horror terms, he doesn't really see the zombies as a scary threat or anything that's actually terrifying. I think he said it was like a 2 out of 10 on that scale. And I don't know, I guess that's, you know, thinking more about that, it's pretty fair to say that, I don't know, I mean, initially I was much more scared than I am now. I feel like part of it is just like understanding the zombies' behaviors, right? And knowing how to deal with them. You can see my cursor jumping around here. But am I bleeding? No. I could use some food here though. I'm gonna eat in the open. It's the safest thing to do after firing. See, my color got a little bit better there. A little less desaturated. But I'd agree that like right now, I don't know, the zombie audio is pretty good. I like that. The zombie animations are really off-putting and kind of low rate, but kind of like low rent, excuse me, but like really bizarre and strange. Just kind of looking for some food here. See a Winchester on the ground. See a crossbow. And check this other barn. But what Rocket was talking about, again, this is the creator of DayZ I was interviewing last week. There's nothing really unsettling. There's nothing in the game that players like can't explain. And I think he's looking for some more of those like almost narrative elements to the game where things happen and they're not supernatural. I think he wants to keep things very grounded, relatively. I mean, it's not going to become Stalker where there's like these, or Metro where there's like these floating orbs of light that you encounter or anything like that. These like psychic phenomena. But I think he's interested in just sort of creating like little pieces of evidence, little scraps of you know, things that are either like left by players that you can't explain, or like, you know, leaving like diaries behind that you can actually like maybe write in game or like leave marks in or something. But just these little things that you come upon that ground you a little bit more in the notion that this is a unwelcoming world. I mean, you know, maybe this is just my Arma experience talking right now, but you know, I feel really confident in DayZ right now. I'm just running around. You know, I'm pretty away from the populated areas, so I can kind of do what I want. But the zombies aren't nearly as threatening as they used to be. Obviously, I have decent gear right now, but definitely some work to be done there. Gonna check this pink house out. I believe there's a supermarket. I'm gonna try and determine what area of town that's in once I get inside here. I'm sort of running too quickly for the zombies to spawn yet. They should spawn any moment. See some of the world textures popping into view still. And maybe loot hasn't even spawned in here yet. Let's see. Yeah, no loot. Alright, so Krasnostav. Leave them somewhere in the center. Looking for, I believe, this is the supermarket. You can see it's sort of one of the larger buildings. So I want to look for the main road. Main road is different color orange. You just sort of like a fully paved highway style road almost. There's a bus stop here. And I want to look probably generally southeast. So, okay. Probably down that hill. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, Seraph is asking, is this set in Russia? And you guys are replying back at him. So, Chernarus, which is the name of the world in Arma 2. This is where we are. This is the name of the country. This is Chernarus. All this. It's based on a section of the Czech Republic, and the Czech Republic is not shaped like this at all, right? I mean, it's a landlocked country, but at the northernmost tip, like, you can actually go into Google Maps and see, like, there is a town with this configuration in the Czech Republic, and, you know, they've taken some liberties with it just to make it more interesting, make it balanced in a certain way. This hill, for example, is not named that. I mean, none of the towns are named the same thing. Ivan Bukta is actually the lead designer of Arma. So he named that hill after himself, presumably, but you know, all these towns have some sort of like real-world cousin, so to speak, and they actually used all satellite model terrain, and I think it actually saves them a lot of work in the long term to not sort of have to handcraft such a massive world, you know what I mean? Alright, so we got some zombies here. The supermarket is down this hill, this direction. Southeast, yeah, okay, this is the paved road. Oh, this is us. No, not that road. Oh man, he's looking right at me. Definitely gotta be ready to run here at any moment. Where's that supermarket? Okay. Oh geez, tough spot here. I need to get off the road, reduce my visibility. Let's see, even being... sort of I mean, this has a tension of, like, if you played Metal Gear Solid, of, you know, watching guard paths and whatnot, and, you know, waiting for the people to pass. But again, it's totally open-ended. These guys are just kind of pathfinding on their own. They actually do investigate things like flares, and if I ate, or if I made other noise, if I communicated with in-game chat, they would, like, sort of move in that direction probably. But unlike Metal Gear Solid, it's not like scripted logic, right? It's not, you know, guys moving on rails and these, like, memorized paths that you just sort of wait, figure out, and then, like, you know, it's not a puzzle mechanic. It doesn't have, like, a dominant solution that you can just employ or, like, look up in a guide or something. And I don't know, I'm comparing apples and oranges, but it's cool that DayZ can sort of produce that same level of tension in a different way. Okay, I got a longhouse here. I believe this might be enterable. Supermarket, where are you? Nope. This just looks like an enterable building. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So it's, yeah, that structure at my 12 o'clock. You can see the interior area with, like, some shelves and stuff. Gonna just make my way down this hill and check inside. This guy is guarding the supermarket. Oh man, did I aggro him? Really? Wow. That was like a football deke. Alright, let's see how much trouble I can get into here. I think that building's enterable as well. Oh, where's the loot? There's no loot spawning. Okay, oh, there it is. There's a backpack. Is that it? Okay. Now it's coming into view. Slowly. Okay, I got a box of matches here. Got some pistol ammo for a pistol I don't have. 45 ACP, that's for revolvers. So I'm gonna just grab this Coke and drink it. Let's see down here, that just changed color to green. That's my sort of my thirstometer. And this is sort of a mid-level backpack. It's a check backpack, but the one I'm carrying is better. Zombies do have, like, low-level gear on them. They'll have, like, tin cans and stuff. Tin cans you can throw to sort of scare zombies, or not scare them, but, like, you know, move them to a different direction, or, like, have them respond to that stimuli. Revolver's pretty good, other than the fact that it's really powerful. It's going to kill zombies in one shot, I think, in almost all situations, but it's allowed, of course. Ooh, binoculars. So this is the backpack I'm carrying right now. It's the Alice pack. Nothing in there, of course. Got some binoculars in the ground. It's really just hoping to find some cans of food. So I could swap for a revolver here. I'd have a couple magazines, but obviously revolver 6 shots, and the M4 has a 15-shot magazine, although it's a little bit weaker. So trade-off. But I like the not the M4. It's an M9 pistol. Sorry. Just having more ammo per, you know, inventory slot. That's what I mean to say. So this is kind of a bust. I wish I could just teleport somewhere for you guys to create some action, but I'm all the way up in this corner of the map. Not a lot of people hang out here. This is some ruins. There are a couple of castles scattered across the Chernobyl map. Here's one right here, Devil's Castle. That's the biggest one in the game. These ruins in Black Mountain, is it? Yeah, there's really nothing there. No gear spawns there at the moment. So, I don't know, I might... I don't think there's anything, like, really interesting I can get to quickly for you guys, so I might kind of head out of here and enjoy my 4th of July weekend in the middle of the week. Oh wow, definitely some players in here if they're laying wire. Let's see, a soda can, some pistols. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. One note I'll make is we are going to be live streaming on Thursday morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific, and we're going to be playing some Orcs Must Die co-op. Some like the first Orcs Must Die gameplay footage, and we're going to be revealing a new mode you can actually go read about in PC Gamer right now. It's on the front page. An endless mode. It's like a marathon mode. And Orcs Must Die 2, if you've played that game, it's sort of a you know, action game / tower defense, and this is the sequel. We really liked it. Just kind of a really fun, lightweight action tower defense game. So come check that out on our Twitch channel on Thursday. It should be fun. We're going to be talking with developers, interviewing them as well, asking questions, and we'll be on there for an hour or two. But yeah, thanks again. I'm sorry to close things down here, guys, but it's just going to be more me running around talking about the game. And I will stream again whenever I'm near a cool and interesting area. Alright, so thanks again for joining, and I'll wish you guys a happy 4th of July.